Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Badgers Heavy Hitters. This is part 3 of the collaboration with 23 and 1 and Fresh Out. Fresh Out's where I got my start. Josh and I have been talking for a while, and we decided that, we should bring something to you, some knowledge to you. If you want to catch part 1, go to Fresh Out. And if you want to catch part 2, not if you want to catch, when you're ready to catch, go to Fresh Out, go to part 2 for 23 and 1, and then you're watching Badgers Heavy Hitters right now for part 3. So go ahead and hit pause, hit their channels up, and then come back and see me. So what we've been doing is trying to bring a little knowledge to you guys. Herc's really where I got my platform. And then, as I said, we've been doing some talking through the phones and whatnot, and we thought it'd be a good idea to bring you guys some knowledge as to what to do if you should fall, and try and get you not to fall. You know what I mean? With some of the stories that we discuss, hopefully they'll make you want to flip around and, not do the wrong thing. So, with that said, Herc's got a few questions. We already went through a couple questions. I guess Herc's got a question from a correctional officer. So,
yeah, a CO actually emailed in and was asking, have you ever experienced any type of corruption or just undermining acts committed by a person employed by the prison, whether it be warden, correctional officer, administration? Have you ever been witness to that or privy to any of that, happening at any of the institutions you were at?
That was a serious question. Am I the one answering on this first?
Yeah, you go ahead and kick it off.
So, as most of you guys know, most of the Southern California prisons are in rural areas. They're trailer park, mobile home having cities where most of these correctional officers worked or lived before they became correctional officers and started making these little dollars. So they probably dodged the bullet by that much. You know what I mean? Like, most of them have probably done the majority of the shit that we've done. They got their little job and now they're higher than. So as far as corruption goes, come on, guys. Where do you think all the cell phones come from? Where do you think the tattoo, colored tattoo ink comes from? So I know my boy, he made the fatal mistake of hooking up with a correctional officer. And when I say hooking up, I mean having sexual encounters with them. And you'll hear this a lot about. Same thing with teachers,
Well, hold on. Your
staff.
homeboy now, did he hook up with a female member or the male?
Female.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, because I'm gonna tell. I know a correctional officer. He told me a staff member was hooking up with a male.
For sure.
Up in there too. You know what I mean? You got
it
up in there.
Down.
Yeah, it all goes down.
I said trailer park.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah. So my partner had hooked up with a correctional officer, and it started off as a simple, an extra sack lunch in the morning, and like, these are things that aren't supposed to be going on. Everybody is supposed to be treated equally. And so anyway, she started pulling him out for yard crew, leaving them some time in the yard shack to get the rakes, the shovels, the wheelbarrows, whatnot. And one thing led to another. And next thing you know, he's out there, guess what, Badger? Got me some pussy today. You know what I mean? Like, I tell you guys on every channel, if you're doing something and you're getting away with it, keep your friggin' mouth shut. Yeah. Just keep getting away with it, because eventually, no matter if you're getting away with it, you keep your mouth shut or not, you're going to get popped. So anyway, youngsters putting the pipe down to the CO for a while, and you got people like me that are jealous, envious, hateful, whatever the case may be. So now he's getting some pussy, but what am I getting out of the deal? So I gave him the option of letting her know that she needs to make this phone call, pick up this package, and bring it to us. So he opened his mouth, got himself in a cross, So now he's got to do what I'm telling him to do, you know. So I'm telling her I'm wanting drugs smuggled in. I want her to smuggle drugs in, right? You know, that's how I'm going to feed my car. So he says, yeah. For a couple weeks, this goes on. And one day, I got a can of tobacco. Oh boy, they sell Bugler in the fucking store for $6 a can. I don't give a shit about the can of tobacco. I told you what to do. Anyway, I was going to move on him, you know, but what ended up happening was another correctional officer walked in on him when they was in there piping her down. She was wearing a jumpsuit. And I guess he was piping her down, and she walked in on him, and homeboy caught a rape charge, you know, straight up.
Damn.
She said, he's raping me, you know.
Oh, she flipped the script.
Flipped the script, that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they beat the bark off this guy for, you know, molesting a correctional officer, and it didn't end there. His whole barbecue just got bad from there. Let's put it that way. You know, I mean, now he's finding himself back at booking front with new ad charges, rape charges of a correctional officer. She was shut up and promoted or moved somewhere. You know what I mean? She didn't lose her job, that's for sure. She got moved to another penitentiary. But you're going to hear these stories repeatedly because we're slick. We're good looking, we're all slick, and we could talk our way into some panties quick, right? Especially with these ugly ass trailer park, you know what I mean? Like working in the free staff, working in the kitchen, and don't think it changes if it's free staff. You get caught sleeping with a free staff, it's the same thing. You're still going to catch a rape charge.
So don't think they're gonna ride it for you.
Don't think she's going to go, well, I gave him the pussy.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know?
that's wild, man.
So phones sell, depending on the type of yard you're on, you know, 1 yard or 4 yard or whatever. Phones sell anywhere from 300 to 3,000 per phone. You know, so where do you think the phones are coming from? You know, they're bringing the phones. Obviously, I'm not going to say they are for sure, but they are for sure.
I know somebody worked in corrections. I was a correctional officer for 25 years, and you know, he told me personally they walked administrator off the compound just to say, you know, you just go ahead and take this early retirement. This person had made over $250,000 selling phones per year. And they have been doing this for a couple years. So they probably made close to maybe $1 million selling cell phones over a 4-year period.
That's unbelievable, man.
That's just cell phones.
Cell phones, quarter million a year, and this person was balling. So when they you know, they were asked to retire early, you know, they didn't get any administrative punishment, but you got to leave. You're done.
It's just contraband. Yeah, you're done with your job. Your prison career is over, but you know, $250,000 a year, 4 years of doing this, that's $1 million. And so here's the magical part. They raid Herc's cell, take his phone, and then they sell it to me. You know, the same cops sell it to me, and they sell my phone to him. So they're not even having to go put out more money for the phones. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just a wish-wash going around. Yeah. So that was like one of the worst stories that I personally know of that I was around to see, was her putting rape charges on this guy. You know, as far as corrupt COs go, I know another CO that he was in his 50s, and I wouldn't call this corrupt, but if you and him had a problem, he would tell you, quit bumping your gums and go in the showers. Yeah. And he walked out the champ every time. You know, I told this story before. He had gotten a young brother threw a trash can at him from the second tier. Homeboy told him, get down here, you know. So they went in the showers, and this old ass correctional officer whooped this kid's ass, and then his own car went in there and whooped his ass for losing the fight, for starters, bringing attention to that car for others. You know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah, I wouldn't call that corrupt, but I mean, yeah, people set up knives. They'll put knives in your cell. They'll put if they want you off the yard, they want you fucked with, you're gonna be fucked with.
Yeah, Park. They used to actually the guard. There was a few guards. They would actually take the belt off in the kitchen, and like, let's get out. And there was a CO getting down with an inmate, and the inmate was getting on him, and the dude tried to run. The inmate kicked him in the ass, and it made, you know, the pots hanging, made a bunch of noise. So the guards ran in there. And they're like, oh, he didn't hit the deuces, but he couldn't. He had his belt off, so he couldn't really he couldn't really, book the inmate because he had took his belt off. You're not supposed to take your belt off. But this shit used to go on a long park. I mean, they were getting down like that, man. And, I wasn't in the mix, but from other people I heard, they're like, man, they had keys of heroin on the compound. I mean, they were like making major moves up in there, man. And they had, the warden ran that shit like he was the mafia. He had a couple goons. Oh yeah, they were making money. I wasn't involved. I wasn't no firsthand, but somebody else I knew, they were, in the mix, and I kind of stayed away. But it was big shit going on over there, man. And I mean, it was a lot of a lot of stuff going on. COs, one CO fucking another CO's wife, and they done had a fight over the weekend. They come back to work. One dude got a black eye, and you know what I mean? All type of crazy shit like that going down, man. And that was the type of spot where you had people who were, some of them were kingpins. Some dudes had a lot of money, and shit was happening. I knew another guy that was there with me who I used to associate with, and he was a big time bank robber. They got away with like 20-something million, one of the biggest heists ever. And I know whatever cut he had, he still had some money. And he had actually told us, hey, man, the CO's coming in my cell at night, man, and like
extorting me for
it. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, what's up, man? I know about your case.
Bad for you,
and your homeboy's going to find out that, I got some paperwork. And basically, some shit went down. I don't know what happened. I left, but he was telling me, like, man, he's like, what should I do, man? Dude's coming to my cell telling me, what's up? You going to break me off? And, you got to, I know about your situation. And it was a bunch of shit. So, shit happens, man. I mean, these are human beings. They're around, opportunities and,
they viciousness all the time to where they see our moves. They learn our moves, the corrupt, the extortion, they learn our moves, and they know that their extortion carries a lot more weight. With us, all you got to do is check in.
Yeah.
Like somebody's going to get you, all you got to do is check in. With them, you do one of them wrong, you can check in, but that's going to follow you everywhere, CO to CO. They got their own group of car. That there was a prison gang called the 3000 or something like that.
Talking about that was the
Wayside, right?
Yeah, the
sheriffs. The White Hands, the Wayside. So and they were ruthless. So I had a job, nighttime crew this is county jail, mind you, and the guy who delivered Law Opinion, the paper, the Mexican paper, my homeboy was his homeboy, and I seen him working. I had a nighttime job doing that, and I seen him. I was like, "Hey, aren't you Steve's homeboy?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What's up, Badger?" I'm like, "Tell my boy I'm here." So I got a plug from the street now. Somebody who could bring something for me. So the cops did catch wind of what was up. Cigarettes were selling for $10 a piece. One Camel cigarette is $10. So, I got pulled to the side and like, how much you bringing in? You know what I mean? He goes, I can always turn my back. So, and in my county jail, I wasn't, we'll call it dumb enough to have drugs brought in because, drugs is a whole nother monster. You're going to get killed behind drugs. You may get beat up and get your shit taken behind cigarettes. But yeah, they want part of everything too. They're no different, ink, telephones, just anything you could think of, weapons, anything you could think of they're a part of, and along with extortion.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. At Lompoc, when some shit kicked off, they allowed it was between two different groups, factions, and metal detectors and shit. But for this group, there was shit all over. Exactly. There was shit all over the yard, and it didn't make sense, man. Some of the shit that they found, how they get out the kitchen, you know what I mean? But they wanted favorable for this particular side, so it's a lot of dirty Mac shit like that, man. I mean, and some of these COs, man, like they're partial to certain groups of people. Certain gangs, they're like, they got, they feel like they're,
their brothers, from SAC or front, so, it's not so much the correctional officers, because some of them are sort of serious about their job because they don't want to go back to the trailer park, but the free staff.
Yeah.
Free staff is, that's where everything good's coming. Ben, you think the petty shit is no big deal. Hustler magazines, a little water bottle of vodka.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like petty shit is no big deal, but guess what? It all carries the same time with them. Contraband is contraband is contraband. You know, so yeah, I've seen quite a bit of it, and I turn my back to quite a bit of it because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
There's certain things I don't want to know because when it comes down and it's there, everyone's busted. You mean, well, who knew? Did Herc know?
Yeah.
It was that Josh. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to know a lot of things. You don't ask questions about
the less you know, the better.
Which cop's bringing it in.
Yeah.
Don't ask these questions. Do you guys run into that problem back there where you're at? Because he's saying Lompoc.
Oh man, USP, it was cracking like 2000. I mean, like I said, I stayed out of the mix, but I mean, you know, dude, everybody, it was a lot of shit happening there. It was like they called them the Cowboys. Yeah, the COs here, man. And hey, you get out of pocket, they had a thing, they would just hog tie motherfuckers. Like they come in the cell late at night, they extract you, tie you up, you know, like a skewer, and you'd be like on that thing and they'd walk you down to the hole. I seen a guy leave. I had just been talking to this guy doing legal work, smart dude. He was telling me some stuff and like I was like blown away, like, oh man, I'm doing this and that. And then the next thing you know, they said he had hung himself.
Yeah, he hung himself.
I'm like, dude, he didn't sound suicidal when I was talking to him. He didn't even have that much time. He didn't have a life sentence. But he's like, oh yeah, he went to the hole, he hung himself. I'm like, God damn, that's just crazy. I just talked to the dude in the law library. So shit like that, man, made you wonder, like, God, you know, anything can happen to this motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it, bro, I'm gonna tell you. So I don't usually like to disclose this kind of stuff, but so in central jail, anytime you're out of your cell, it's a benefit. You know, I mean, you got access to move around. It's nice, you know. And we have trustees. I'm sure you guys have trustees as well, right?
Yeah.
So, these cops would make you put in some work for them from time to time. You know what I mean? If you didn't, like I had a homeboy come in, he had mopped red hair. I didn't know that I knew him. I didn't know that I knew his family or anything. And he had cut off, his jumpsuit was cut off. He was tore up, bro. And the cops, these are sheriffs, not COs, but they told us this dude needs to hang himself. You know what I mean? They told us the same thing. He needs to hang himself. They were directing us to do it. You know, usually they'd send us in for a beating because something happened. And I usually wasn't with any of that shit, but I like ODR burritos. And, you know, I mean, I like the little job I had. And I told my other partner, I'm like, yeah, dog, I'm not with that one. You know what I mean? I'm not with that one. What had happened was he had broken into a home, robbed the house, stole the vehicle from there, and then got into a high-speed chase. And he ended up killing a Holocaust survivor during a speed chase. So, yes, after a home invasion, and I believe they both carry life anyway, but the cops just took this really personally. You know what I mean? They wanted him hung, you know, and I didn't want any part of it. And as a matter of fact, I lost my job. Things went real bad for me for a while from there because I knew what they wanted done. Even though I wasn't willing to move on, I got caught a bus from there back to I got the bus shuffle for a minute. You know, it was all bad. And I'd take that bus shuffle again any day over making that move for the man. You know, I mean, I just couldn't see myself doing it. But they're treacherous. You know what I mean? They have what they call elevator rides.
Oh, they got them in Sac County, they put the helmet on you.
So you get in the elevator, man, things are not about to be well for you. You know what I mean? And guess what?
Okay.
Whatever he says as the lieutenant or the sergeant, whatever he says happened is what happened.
What about the female SEALs? When you think you eyeballing?
Oh yeah, don't think. Or here's the one walking out.
Like looking at. Did you look at her?
Are you looking at her? You know what I mean?
Man, that's the rap.
Yeah, that's
the rap, man.
Eyes down, especially around female correctional officers.
Really?
There was one, she wore the jumpsuit, she was a lesbian, and she would have the biggest mouth of chaw. You know what I mean? Out there chewing and spitting, bro. You know what I mean? And I used to fuck around and I'd call her mama. Hey, mama. You know what I mean? Like, she was cool with it, but the other correctional officers were like, why are you disrespecting her? You know, so I mean, I left that alone. But the violence, if they take you for an elevator ride and you may not survive that elevator ride, whatever the lieutenant says happened is what happened. They all write up the same paperwork.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what's fucked up is that when shit goes down, there's like they call it the blue wall. They call it
The what?
what they call like
Yeah, the blue wall.
where they want you to rap, but they're not telling on each other.
Right.
It don't matter. Dude could be a good dude, and he could be like, well, man, it's my job. You know what I mean? So hey, I'm sorry, man. You know what I mean?
Because for you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fucked up, man, and that's what that's the fucked up thing about it, man. Because sometimes people don't deserve that. You know what I mean? And nobody steps up and says nothing.
Well, speaking of deserving, on your show, I told a story where a brother had spit on a picture of the Duke, John Wayne, up on the 9,000 floor. And that guy died for that move. You know what I mean? He was beat to death behind that move. And they did that, they beat that dude to death pretty much in front of 9,500. There's probably 300 inmates up there. So, there's at least 100 people seeing what they were doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, he didn't make it at all. That's the treachery of what goes on in there.
Yeah.
So it's not just them, and they're above the law. They see our moves, so they do the next violent move, but they know they're going to get away with it because of how they write it.
Yeah.
What are they like back there? They got to be just the same back there. You got all them redneck, hillbilly, fucking goat roping, fucking where they got to be that way back there where you're at.
Well, the city jail was the first time I've witnessed someone get the shit beat out of them by, I guess, and there's deputy. They beat the hell out of that dude. But all the prisons I've been to, the inmates, I mean, they just were treacherous to correctional officers. I'm talking about when women came by, catcalling was just an understatement. Unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, I'm talking about a girl comes in the block, they're gonna say every derogatory name and filth that you can think of.
Going down out here.
Yeah, except for a few. A lot of the women, like one of the main prisons I did my time in, a lot of the women were actually gang members. Okay, the Bloods had a few females that worked in the pod that were Bloods. They were working with them, and actually something made the news. Everyone can Google it. The girl got charged, but she was working for the Bloods, and they were trying to get at an inmate, and she opened the door for them to get to him. And it turned out that there was a whole Blood organization, and they're all in on it. And the women COs that I've witnessed when it comes to dirty COs, I used to see our cells in this pod. It was a 2-tier pod. It housed about 100 people. About 100 people, sometimes less. They had these sliding doors, and they had this long window. Okay, it was like a long window. Something just shook my whole house. It's crazy. Anyway, it was a long window, about, let's say, 2 feet tall, skinny, but there was no window there. Okay, so you could stick your arm out with the mirror and look down the tier and shit. And that's how it went. And if you wanted some privacy, you would shove the pillow in the window, little window slot. Well, this girl, the same girl every time. She would go probably to 2 or 3 cells every time she did it. She would stick her hand into the cell, and you could see her body shake. You could tell, she's straight giving out hand jigs left and right. Fuck, man. And everyone knew it. Everyone knew it, and you would see people's heads in the door, like, they would love it. They would love just watching her do this shit.
The old Asian bang bang, huh?
Yeah, man. And then we had another dude, same pod. This guy, he was man. I told a story about him. It seems like every guy, he was a black dude, and every black dude that I known that had one gold tooth always was in the mix of something. I don't know what it is about that one damn gold tooth. It's like, and he was an older guy, older cat. So I was like, man, every guy I've seen with one gold tooth is like, man, he's always in the mix. And sure enough, he was. This dude, he would literally come in the block, go straight to one man cell every time. One dude, I'm not gonna say his name, but I was actually played a lot of poker with this individual, and he was a store box. He had a huge store box. But the dude would come into the pod. He would go right into his cell. They would lock the door, put the pillow in the window for about 5 minutes tops, come out, and he would go back to the booth. And I remember one time he came to my cell, and he was a kind of flashy type of guy, and he kind of knew that I wouldn't say shit. Uh, and he was flashy. I remember he came to my cell right after he left. He flashed $100 bills. I was like, damn, I thought they were fake because it's been so long since I've seen real cash. And I'll never forget. I don't know what the hell he needed cash for in there. I'm sure there's many different things, maybe to buy some sex, whatever the case is. But he had, sure enough, had $100 bills in his hand, and this dude used to bring all kinds of stuff, man. Black and Milds, bud. Every time he would leave the cell, shops open for business. Come on down to that cell or wherever. Come get your little joints, J's, whatever you want to buy. And this guy, man, he was just always in the mix. You know what I mean? And the women were always in the mix too when it came to sexual stuff. I mean, they would sit there. There was girls that would sit there and literally just completely obvious stare directly at you in the shower and watch guys just gun them down.
Oh, yeah, gun them down. The gun.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They would just gun them down, and they would just be staring at him like like this direct face on. They wouldn't care.
Working with.
Yeah, they don't care, man. They loved it. I swear, most of these girls, they loved it. And I remember this one time. I just told this story too. It was on a video that I made. What happens when lights go out in jail or something like that. And I'll never forget this because this was one of the strangest ones I've ever seen. It wasn't really like a dirty cop story, but I guess it kind of was in a way. These deputies, I was trustee. I wasn't allowed to be trustee, okay, because I had violent charges. But I knew the sergeant from the streets. We used to go skating rink when we were young, and he just so happened to be a sergeant now. You know what I mean? So I pulled him to the side. I said, "Man, look, man, I'm trying to get in the damn trustee block, man. Come on, what can you do for me?" And sure enough, they called me out, packed my bags. I thought something was going on, but sure enough, they took me to trustee, and they gave me a bull crap job pushing carts. And then they upgraded me within like 3 days because the floor crew, nighttime floor crew, got busted. So they had to hire some new people. And so I was nighttime floor crew walking around the whole damn jail, buffing floors like 2:30 in the morning. I was like, man, shit, I feel like a good old regular inmate right now. You know what I mean? I'm buffing floors and chilling. And I'll never forget, man, I whipped around the corner. And sure enough, the two correctional officers that were in charge of strip searching us and all that, I whipped around the corner, and sure enough, they were making out with each other right there. I was like, oh my, I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? I make a quick U-turn, and I get back, and people gave me shit in the comment section because I went back to pod. I told everyone I saw these two fools making out. You know what I mean?
Dudes or dudes?
It was dudes, correction, two deputy dudes, man, making out, and they just strip searched all of us. And so now when we get strip searched, we're like, it just ain't the same, man. You know what I mean?
Worried about your flowers getting stared at a little too long, huh? Crazy.
And then it got funny too because people were making wise jokes, but like under low radar, and you could tell that they're like, okay, I think there might be onto it. Someone might have seen something. Is there, you know what I mean? And that was one that I'll never forget when it came to the weirdest things I've seen with the correctional officer. Not even the girls giving hand jobs in the cell could compare to that. But I've had some dirty COs lie, say I threatened them, and I snapped on them. I never threatened bodily harm to them. They said that, threw my ass in a hole for 6 months. You know what I mean? Shipped me to a new compound. I mean, like you said, they can say whatever the hell they want, man, and that's it. You're back there rotting away for something you didn't do.
Nobody's following up with you.
Hey, yeah. Josh, I want to bring up the video you had recently did a video about the Ohio State prison, and you talked about the white guy who had broke loose out of the cuffs, and they had the black guys, 4 black guys chained to a table.
Yeah.
And you kind of you gave him the benefit of the doubt, like you said that he was able to slip through, and somehow he had a shank. They didn't find it. He was basically they didn't find it. He slipped out. He pulled it out and was stabbing these guys. And it looked like it went on for a little while. You said the other guy finally one of the guys got loose.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're watching the video. Now I don't know where the video came from, if it was actually surveillance, whatever. But going into more detail on that. Now, you and I both know when they cuff. I've been cuffed up 3 o'clock in the morning, dude. Those cuffs hurt.
Hell yeah, that's why I said.
Like you said, your wrist, man. My wrist, man. They put them on there, bro. You're like, God damn, man. What the fuck? So for them to say that this guy slipped out of the cuffs, and it wasn't like and the COs, like whenever they do any type of situation where they lock down a unit and they got people cuffed at different tables, there's like about 15, 20 there's a lot of police around. I've never seen it where it's one police and he's watching 6 dudes cuffed up. You know what I mean? It was like 2 over here, captain. So for
that close together, was very strange.
Exactly. So watching that, man, and a lot of people commented on my Instagram. They're like, "What the hell happened? Oh man, no, that's not real." Blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, that motherfucker. That goes back to corrupt COs. Somebody did not purposely cuff this dude up all the way, and they allowed this guy to get off on them dudes because that's what they were entertaining themselves with that day.
Right.
Because I know, like you said, being shackled on the bus, dude, you can't even. You got a lockbox. You cannot move, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you're, I've been out there in your fucking underwear, then they're butt naked, and they got like fucking 50 dudes cuffed up. Dude, those cuffs are damn near blood coming out your wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, this is.
It's a scar from him.
So when people say, "Oh man, he accidentally did a MacGyver," man, I don't see it, man.
But see, this is the thing. One of the black dudes, he got free too, didn't he?
You said, yeah, he did break loose. So somehow
I would say that throws a big hook in the game, because either they were loose and he slipped out, or he literally broke his freaking hand to get that thing out. Now, if they said, I wish I could find out if he broke his hand or whatever the case was, but if it was loose enough for him to slide it out, that's the only thing that I could think of that would give the correctional officer that idiot just didn't cuff him tight enough.
But but where were the correctional officers?
I mean, that too.
Nobody. I mean, dude, nobody was able to break that. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, what the hell were they doing? Were they wrecking? Were they about to go to transport? Was it wreck? It had to have been transport, because
there still wouldn't be one correctional officer.
Dude, they got motherfuckers like 2 deep over here. You know what I mean? He got a board. One dude got a clipboard. Right. You know what I mean? And for them to let that shit go on for like 20, I've never seen, unless it's a right on the yard,
right,
and they can't get to it. But in a unit, they're watching everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense. So people think, oh man, shit happens a lot of time. Like you said, it could have left a little loose on both to see. Let's see what could happen. But you've been in the spots. You know about them setting up the fucking.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Lieutenant Rodriguez, that's who got cuffed up for cracking himself. That fighting shit at Corcoran was real.
Yeah.
I mean, that was real shit. And it started off as integrating the yards, sending whites and blacks to the yards together, sending, northern and southern. That's how it started, but that shit was real. They would leave the gates open, and then they would literally make you go out there and fight. That's all real shit. Look it up.
Yeah,
That
it is.
ended up becoming a watch commander at another penal system. The feds walked in, cuffed him up right in front of everyone. Everybody's clapping, and the next thing you know, he's like the warden at another facility now.
Wow.
You can read up on that one for sure. Lieutenant Rodriguez from Corcoran. I was going to let you know another thing as far as correctional officers go, and disrespecting, because he was catcalling and all that shit. Well, they ain't going for that shit out here.
I know. That's why I was like, damn, it's a whole nother world out there, man.
Some guy, he wrapped his dick around his wrist for wristband count time.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, he'll never do that again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But when you're walking out of the chow hall, you know how you got your little, you're trying to suck the chicken out of your teeth or something, and one of them COs here, you suck your teeth around them,
They get mad, man.
they're gonna peel your cap. You know what I mean? And they take
Yeah.
that as a fuck you. You know, they'll
Yeah.
have you up on the wall. Because you're not even really doing nothing. You're just,
No, but you're making
I think
enough.
you need to
Yeah.
come in. Can you
Yeah.
see him? Okay.
Yeah, he could come in just a little bit. That's good.
Okay. See, I just seen a little that way. So, yeah, don't walk out of the chow hall sucking your teeth, man. Wait until you're back on the track, walking to wherever you're walking to. You know, that's a major no-no right there. And it's
Yeah.
something that you don't even catch yourself doing. You're
Yeah,
not really doing it to disrespect them, but that's exactly how they take it.
yeah,
The 3,000 sheriffs, they were vicious, man.
yeah,
They were vicious.
Well, people think that people got these positions and they are doing an honest job, and like you do have a handful that maybe are there to really try to make a difference, but then you have some people that just are on their own page, man. And even like at Sheridan, there was a CO, kind of quiet dude, seemed kind of weird in a sense, but you couldn't really put a finger on it. Apparently, this guy, I don't know if he was on the way to work or on a particular night, had picked up a girl, raped her and beat her, left her for dead on the side of the freeway, right? On one of those old streets out there in Oregon, and came to work, like nothing happened. So he was like at work and stuff, everybody, and apparently the girl survived. She crawled up the embankment or to the road, found help, and was taken to the hospital and said who did it. They came and arrested this dude on the compound. Now, mind you, this girl's dad, from what they said, were the rumors I heard, was like a leader of some bike gang out there and was tied in. So I'm quite sure he caught the blues once he got to prison. But this was a guy, he had just raped and then murdered somebody. He was at work, like popping doors.
So it was
the
the
same
first
day.
time.
Well, we don't know. But the thing is, that incident, everybody's like, what, that dude? They came and arrested him at the compound after the girl was able to identify what happened, man, because she was fucked up. They thought, he thought he killed her.
Taking care
Yeah,
of business.
and came to work. He was at work, bro. So
Crazy.
you never know, man. I mean, you got some people. There's people like on both spectrums, man, that aren't wrapped too tight.
And like you said, a lot of these guys out here are from similar gangs, the same gang. You know what I mean? Or their brother's a member, or like you said, you knew the sergeant or whatever.
yeah.
Man, they know that you know that somebody on that yard. You're going to the hole, and then you're getting shipped out.
Yeah.
How they do it out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to the hole first, then you're getting shipped out. If
I would. Well, see, I didn't tell. Trust me. I didn't tell.
anybody that
Hell no. I
Just play
put a nice
Texas
little.
there.
I put a little nice medical request form into that. So I
Right.
didn't tell anybody I knew the motherfucker. But you know what I mean. Actually, you know what? Later on down the road, someone did find out, and I actually did tell a few. But straight off the back, I didn't tell nobody I knew that motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, especially over there. The way that y'all describe stuff over there in the West Coast, man. Nah, I probably wouldn't even ask to be in trustee. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's fun. I mean, when you're young, it's fun. You get in trouble, you get beat up here and there. You get, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
hey, look, to tag into what Herc was saying about that video. You know what else I was thinking about while you were saying where the correctional officer was? I remember one time something similar to that. There was a fight, and it was just 3 people out. Okay, it was just 3 people out. For some reason, there was only 3 people out. It was like a 10-man block, but they were the only 3 that were let out, and me and some other guys were locked in the cell. But these guys were fighting, and there was a correctional officer in there. And the little pod opening was almost similar to that. And they get in a little fight, and the correctional officer, first thing he did was leave. He left. He dipped out. And they didn't come back until he had backup. So that could be another scenario that could have happened. He might have been there, but not in the camera view. And then he saw the knife. He's like, shit. I think protocol, if I remember correctly, if they see weapons or anything like that. I know there was a video that surfaced on YouTube where homeboy was sitting there doing something, and then it was a group of white dudes. He came over there and started shanking dude up, I believe. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but it was crazy. But the correctional officers took them damn near every bit of 15 minutes to show up, because I think that's protocol. They have to sit there and wait for a SWAT team. Those
The
turtle.
one where they were blowing up, they were throwing shock bombs over there, and there was a female correctional officer, and 2 SAs were stabbing another SA. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, this one was something else. Dude was getting stabbed in the neck by 3 and all kinds of stuff. It was 3 guys on one. Man, I can't remember the. I'll send you the link, and if you want to post it in the comment section, you can. I know I posted it on my video, but
that could be a possibility. I was in a unit, and I remember some guys rushed another guy, and there was a female guard on duty, and they tried to rush him, and they didn't. This dude was a monster, so he came at him. They were running, and basically they were running back and forth on a tier, and she was in a fucking frozen panic, and this shit was going on like in a movie for like, I don't know. It seemed like 5-10 minutes. Like, you know, she basically was like, wasn't trying to break it up, but you know, I think she hit the deuces. But by the time they came, you know, it seemed like this shit, they had been running back and forth on the tier for like, you know, 5 minutes. So a situation like that though, it was a regular rec movement where you're in the day room, so it's different. You know what I mean? It wasn't handcuffed though.
Yeah.
But like anytime I've seen people cuffed, as far as anybody where I've been at, there's always multiple COs, man. I've never at every spot they have like, especially like you said, that guy was high powered. I've never seen like when you're dealing with those type of dudes. I mean, I've never seen where, you know, like you said, the incident before that you said was irrelevant, but the guy was on the bus and they said the one guy was able to break loose and he strangled the dude with his fucking dude.
That was set up. I can almost guarantee.
Yeah. I mean,
now look, let me ask you this. I hate to put ask y'all to put yourself in these shoes, but I'm gonna do it. Let's say you are a correctional officer, okay, and you are the only correctional officer in that segregated block that they were chained to the table, and you see that dude break out his cuff with a freaking shank and start stabbing people. Are you gonna run? You don't have no weapon. You're locked in there with him. Are you gonna run and try to stop the guy, or are you gonna dip out and wait for the turtle squad to come in? What would you do? What?
I'm going on break.
Hey, I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation, but I've seen COs in situations hard like USP, and these motherfuckers come in here busting heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, you want my time? You want to start this shit?
Right.
You know, I
gotta do the paperwork.
Exactly. I'm gonna come in there and smash y'all. So I mean, I wouldn't want to say like, hey, what I would do, but I've seen where COs has been like by themselves. They'll hit the deuces, but they're coming in there and they're putting in work.
Yeah, I mean, all they got's a nightstick. I mean, homeboy's holding a piece of heat, right?
Yeah.
So
and what? They're getting paid what, 40 grand a year, if that?
Yeah.
Adds up towards 100 by the time it's overtime and they're done screwing us and doing all the paperwork on the shit that we were just discussing.
That could have been a long time where they get overtime. You know what I mean?
And that's what they do too. For holiday pay, they get hazard pay. So for any time you're on lockdown, they're getting hazard pay.
Yeah.
And you know what? Another thing is too, is you talking about like corrupt COs, but this goes even further, where there'll be a yard, everything will be cool, you know, no problems, this and that, and they'll bust in certain groups of individuals. They know that if they hit this yard, it's going to change the whole demographic and the scope of what's happening to where it's going to get locked down, and they're going to take away privileges. Now, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because it benefits them to have the lockdown institute, you know, to justify maintaining the goon squad. If the goon squad doesn't need to do shit, get rid of them. That's part of the budget gone. But if we use them 4 or 5 times, then we can justify the funding to have these extra guys who get hazard pay for being trained to be the turtles, like you said, the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, dude, it's not like rocket science. These guys, they want to maintain their job. Like you said, 40, overtime, 100.
Right.
You know what I mean? Peaceful yard. Well, shit, we're going to lay some people off. We don't need all you guys.
Right.
So you bust people in, and I seen it, man. No problems, no nothing. They bust a motherfucker in, a shot. Oh, okay. Whole yard changed.
Since we're picking this up, so I know you've heard about the 50-50 yards, right?
Yeah. I heard a little bit about that.
So what they were doing, and like he just said, it could be all nice, peaceful yard. Everyone's doing program. Everyone's going to the dairy, the IDL, the cheer tender, whatever they were having. There's a nice, smooth yard, and they're bringing the PCs in. Or now what they switched it up with, and they were doing was they were taking regs. You know what I mean? You know what a reg is, right?
Yeah.
Right. So they were taking regs and putting them on a PC yard. So they're taking all the thugs, the convicts, the soldiers, whatever, the guys that are still in the mix and putting them on a PC yard 40 at a time or something to where they're still outnumbered 40 to 1 or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a bloodbath. It's been an absolute bloodbath. Why? Because of what he just said. So that they can fucking justify more goon squad. And if you notice what time of the year it happened,
Yeah, election
they started
time.
doing it right at election time.
And, oh yeah, no prison reform. These guys are animals. We
They're
need to get tough on
savages.
crime. Give them more time. These guys are out of control. These guys, see, look how they're acting. We just locked down 5 institutions because, dude, you set it up. It was no problem. You didn't have to move nobody.
I never thought about it like that. Nenever thought about it like that.
Man, come on, man.
Well,
It's business, man. It's business. When they see people getting along, I've seen it, man, where they see you doing too, oh, okay, well, put them in a cell with this guy and let's see what happens then. I've seen it. They tested to see there's got to be something that's going to break them. I've had a CO move me into a cell with 2 dudes to see how it was going to interact because they felt like this was going to be the one that sets it off. We got to fuck his program out. He's got no write-ups. Let's get him something, right? You know what I mean? He's doing too much. He's in the fucking law library. Send him in there with them 2 and then see what happens. Oh, man, look, dude, this dude wants his pot. Now I'm cool. Nah, we're putting you in there. What the fuck is this?
Even administration fucking with somebody trying to do their own
Exactly.
time.
Exactly.
Let me ask y'all this.
Administration does that.
See, the way I was looking at it, the only concept of why they would be transferring all that PC to, General Pop or whatever, I thought in my mind that, I mean, now that y'all say it like that, that's a very good, plausible reason why they're doing it. But I was thinking more along the lines, because I know over here, I don't know how the PC works over there. Do they? Because I know over here they walk everyone one at a time to the shower, one at a time to the dog cage, whether PC or the hole. It's all they do the same kind of movements, except for like one where they'd have certain amount of PC people go out that are non-violent or whatever. They would go out together, but most of the time it's one person going to the shower, one person going to dog cage, and these correctional officers have to do it. I'm thinking that they probably I was thinking more along the lines they were doing it because they're tired of freaking catering to all these fools in PC.
No, they do everything. They handle everything. Your food, they handle everything. So that's not going to change, bro. And the rights, according to Title 15, isn't going to change either. You have to be entitled to so much sunlight. You have to be entitled to, that's not going to change. That's all part of the job. And yeah, you're right. They do 2 at a time. You and your cellie, if you're in the shoe and you're able to sell, then you and your cellie go out at the same time. You know what I mean? Whatever. But cuffing up and showering, I mean, that's just part of the deal. It's never going to change. They're never going to go, okay, we'll just let them out.
Yeah.
So, but it's exactly like we said. They do this. It started on the EOP yards, medication yards, right? The dingbats that aren't allowed to be considered active members because they're on hot meds. You're not allowed to be a gang member in prison if you're on hot meds. So they were taking the PC.
Really? Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, the homies ain't going for that. So
damn.
They took I think it was like 30 people to a 3-yard, to an EOP yard where they're all on meds and everything. Now you'd think it's a nice spot because all the dorms are air conditioning because of the meds that you're on. You have to be air conditioned. It gets hot as hell out here, bro. Yeah. But even there, these guys, we're not living with child molesters and rapists, and it's mandatory that you get off with, if you know somebody is a child molester, 288A, we're coming for you. You know what I mean? And same thing with rape. They're not going, and who wants to live with that? So they would send in 10 dudes all Thorazine out to go deal with one, but it was still going down, and they're calling it a bloodbath. Sacramento, it's a bloodbath. Oh my God, we need more. You hear the key word there? More.
Yeah. Funding.
We need more
money.
funding.
Let's private prisons. Let's make more money. Open up a couple.
Take away welding and fucking.
Exactly. Take from there, and then we got like something way out in California City that's empty. Send motherfuckers. Let's fill that motherfucker up now. In one of these other hillbilly towns to get employment.
Yeah.
You know
exactly
what I mean? Let's fill it up. It's empty right now, so let's fill it up, man. It's a fucking game, man. It's sad, but they're playing with people's lives.
They're playing chess. Believe that. They've been playing.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Playing checkers.
Yeah.
Chess. Yeah. They're playing chess to line their pockets. You know why? Because got to get my brother-in-law Bob here a job too. You know what I'm saying? No.
I was just talking about that. How these backwoods towns, that's all they have for employment.
It's generations.
Yeah.
It's generations, man. It's like a guy asked me, he's like, "Oh, Big Herc, I'm gonna be a CO." I said, "Why?
Why?
Go be a counselor. Go be a youth counselor. Go be a parolee. Do something to change.
Go be a car salesman.
Anything, man. Insurance. You know what I mean? Fuck, man. Why you want to go and lock yourself up voluntarily?
Right, because you know what? Let's face it. You guys,
mentally, it does fuck
all
you.
Three of us could face this. Who in the fuck would want to spend
8 to 12 hours of their life there every day? You couldn't pay me. You could not pay me to drive behind those gates, to park, to walk in and deal with that. You couldn't pay me.
The shit they have to see, the things they have to put up with.
Oh, man, you couldn't pay me, man.
And I'm talking about the corruption within their own, because, you know, they got to keep their mouth shut, too, about how they're taking care of their own.
Yeah.
Because if you get caught doing something, let's say you've seen him making a move, whatever. We're not going to say what the move is because I don't know. But let's say you've seen him making a move and you report him. Your name just became shit in every fucking institution there is. And, you know, they shuffle them COs around. You know what I mean? And what they end up doing is they'll take the guy, because you just reported him. You did the right thing, Bill.
Well,
even they'll put you on a fucked up yard where people are quitting. High desert. Nope, not one correctional officer wanted to work there. They were being assaulted, stabbed, everything on the average of 3 a day.
And even you talk about respect, man. You know, and this is coming from another CO, getting that dude's wife, girlfriends. Oh, why are you coming up here to see him? Blah, blah, blah. And one of the dudes found out, went to the motherfucking thing. He said, "Let me see the thing," and just bust him upside the head with a hammer. You know what I mean? Just went off on it. See, they're like, "Why did you do that?" "Well, you were trying to fuck my wife. I'm doing all this time, and you're doing all these little remarks. Nigga, this is a fucking game.
Exactly.
Dude, you can't. You know, it's just like no respect. You can't play these guys. That's all they have. You're free, but you still are trying to.
You got to pick out the same well.
Oh man, come on, man. So it's fucked up when they do that, man. And like he said, they all cover for each other.
For sure. You know, and there's nothing worse than a correctional officer hitting on your old lady. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine?
Oh, they have. When she came into visitation, they would try to do throw their little game at her and stuff, and she would come in there and be like, "Look, this idiot was trying to hit on me the whole time." You know, I've had bail bondsmen hit on my old lady.
That's different. He can get you out, dog. Don't trip on that one.
No, but I mean, yeah.
Why would she even tell you that, bro? Because I don't know about you, but if my old lady told me that, you know what I mean, and she pointed to the cop that did that, I wouldn't be getting visits for a while. I'll guarantee you that. You know what I mean? Because I would deal with it. I would have to. I would have to feel like a man to fucking and take care of that situation, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, most of them, they were pretty much untouchable, but they weren't, you know, they were just doing it in the same kind of way as some dude that, you know, just you know, kind of not harmless, but harmless, you know, just trying to hit on her and stuff like that. It was a blatant
disrespect. I hear you.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't. To me, it wasn't nothing that I would, you know, go shank him in the throat for. But at the
just got her flower and grab her ass.
Yeah, that's it. A little a friendly, good game pat on the butt.
So
yeah,
man.
Anyway, the bottom line to all this is they're people too. They're gonna hustle. They're gonna be corrupt. They're gonna do what
they're not perfect.
They're not perfect.
They're not perfect.
You know, and if they are perfect, other COs don't want them around.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line. So yeah, I mean the corruption goes on a regular everywhere. You know.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing with most COs, man. They say man, no one gives a shit about these guys. No one's
That's
really
what they
gonna
do
know.
say.
Yeah.
No one's really gonna know what the hell goes on in here, man.
Yep.
You know, that's their number one
Oh,
reasoning behind doing the shit that they do, because there's no checks and balances at all within that system. And sometimes I wonder, like, how the hell do some of these guys get lawsuits put and win all this money off prisons and jails? I'm like, how did they do it?
You got to be a jailhouse lawyer. You got to
You
know
gotta
how.
have some kind of insider scoop with something going on, because
You got to have a hell of a resource. I mean, I don't know if you know, but remember Lee Baca when he had the FBI agent in here,
yes,
and they for a year and a half they couldn't find him.
Yes,
Dude, they had an undercover FBI agent in LA County investigating the 3000 boys, and basically he had a cell phone. They found out, and they actually threatened the FBI agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was lost in the shuffle, and they arrested a bunch of people off of that whole situation. But I mean, come on, man. If they're doing that, what do you have?
Threatening the FBI, you know what I mean? As opposed to you're just an inmate that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Your mom may call the watch commander, but you know, I mean, you could come up missing too.
It's like you said, man. It's like, something happened to you. Well, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of somebody I haven't heard from. Well, so we don't know. He's been transferred, or that transfer might go on for. You know what I mean?
Actually, it looks like you might have escaped.
Yeah. So I mean, anything, man. So it's fucked up, man, and it's a sad situation, and that's why we tell you guys, stay the fuck out of prison, man. Find you something else, man. It's just too many variables, man. Too many variables, man.
that's the best way to put it. There's way too many scenarios, way too many different kind of mind states, mindsets. You don't know what the hell. That's why I said, man, I tell people all the time on my channel, I could tell you till I'm blue in the face how to survive prison, but honestly, the majority of that shit is luck, man. Because anything can fucking happen at the drop of a dime.
Yeah.
And it don't matter, when shanks are involved and you're on that type of compound. I mean, if you make it out, it's by the grace of God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real. And that's just how it goes sometimes. And it don't matter how much you know about that system. Sometimes you just ain't gonna be lucky, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Better off being out here collecting cans, doing a legal job.
Yeah.
For sure.
Being in
For
there
sure.
behind any dumb situation. Anyway, guys, listen, this has been a great episode. There's we got all three. This is the close of three, maybe the first of a beginning of something we get going. It depends on the comments and how everything works out. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man, and everybody, make sure you guys subscribe to each and every channel, 23-1, Fresh Out Life After Penitentiary, Badgers Heavy Hitters, and links in the description. And leave a comment. We like to hear leave a comment, click the like button. We love to hear you guys' feedback.
For sure. And leave some questions so next time we can answer your questions. We'll do I'm not saying that I think this might be the start of a good thing going on. So
Yeah.
This way, bring, what do you call it? Lace them up.
Lace them up.
Or lace them up.
I definitely had fun, man. And I know one thing.
Sure.
I'm
3
glad.
hours fun, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
glad I got to talk with y'all, face to face, even though it was through webcam, and get to know y'all a little bit and y'all's personality. Because I do plan on visiting on California sooner or later. And I, be more
we got
happy.
better weather than you got.
Yeah, be more than happy to swing by and meet y'all in person, man. So I'm really looking forward to that, man. Yeah, man. I thank you for having me on your show, Badger and Hurt. And
all right,
salute to the whole audience base on all three of our channels, man. We love y'all. Without y'all, we ain't shit. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Believe it. Some people want it to happen. Some people need it to happen. The heavy hitters make it happen. Love and respect, everybody.
All right, man.
That was good. That was good, man.